Hey everyone, my camera screen always without fail cuts off my head. I have hair. Let me see if I can fix that I can do. Sorry for my dirty walls behind me. But anyways, hi everyone, thank you for watching. So if you can't figure out what this video will be about by the title, it is going to be a list of the books that I'm planning on reading for 2018. Now this isn't a definitive list. I might add more later on. I might not like read all of these. I don't know. This is like what I plan to at least read. So I do kind of want to put in here, I'm gonna leave my I don't even know, my account or something, like my username or something down below if you want to follow me on Goodreads. So every year Goodreads they have you like pick how many books you're planning on reading for the year, like what your goal is. And this year I put 20. Last year I put 12, and I think I only read like 7. This year I'm determined to pick up my reading game. So I'm an avid reader, but I read very slowly, like very slowly, I'm not gonna lie. And I think it's because I leave my reading now towards like I leave my reading for when I'm on the train heading to work or coming back home, and that's pretty much the only time I read now. And it's happened really since my late 20s now. Like I'm in my last year of my 20s. I'm not gonna get into that. I don't even want to talk about it. But before I used to like, I don't even know, I used to like freaking demolish books. Like it didn't matter how big, how small, I would like get through them, and then like a week I would be on to another book, or in a matter of days. And now it's like one book will last me like a fucking year. Not really, but you know what I mean. It'll last me a long time. Oh, just want to put a disclaimer, I curse. If you don't like cursing, you might want to click out, because I don't know when it's gonna come out. It just comes out. If you hear any weird noises, it's my dog in the background. She's eating a treat, so you might hear like crunching sounds or anything weird. That's my dog. I am a paper reader. Like, is that a thing? I really love to read physical books because I love the smell of them, I love the feel of them. I don't know, I feel like I absorb more when I have them in my hands. But my amazing husband did get me a Kindle a few years ago for Christmas, and I'm not gonna lie, I actually like it. I was so against ebook reading. I don't know why. It's just like I have this thing with change. It like shakes me to my core, and I just don't like it. So I try not to change a lot, which I know is bad, but every now and then I let a few things in, you know. And he got me a Kindle, and I actually love it. And you know what's surprising? That I actually really love reading magazines on here. I have a few subscriptions for magazines, but that's a video for another time. But I actually do not mind reading magazines on here, which to me, it's weird because like I said, I like having things physically in my hands, and when I like to flip through magazines and start things, and like, I don't know, but I actually don't mind it there. Anyways, so for this video, I'm going to read off the list of holds that I have in my library, like in my library queue or whatever, the book that I'm currently reading, and then what I have on my Kindle. So it's probably gonna be a shit ton of books on my list, but hopefully I'll be able to get through them. Like I said, I'm trying to read more now, not just on the train, but like when I'm at home, instead of like watching so much like YouTube or Netflix, like cutting down on those hours, and like maybe reading before I go to sleep, things of that nature. Just finding more time, because I don't know what's happened to me. I think it's old age, I'm not gonna lie. The book that I'm currently reading is the Total Money Makeover by Ramsey. And it's this book. I've heard so much about it, and every time that I like Google or anything about like budgeting or like how to be better with money, because I suck at saving and like being good with money, I normally get like, people always talk about Dave Ramsey, so I was like, you know what, let me start reading it. I'm only on page 44, and already this has been like a life-changing, eye-opening book, because everything that he kind of like says, like, if you do this, you're in the wrong. If you do this, like, he doesn't say it's just like that, but he's very blunt, which I very much appreciate. And a lot of the things that he says, it's me. Like, I'm just like, oh, like blush cheeks and like hiding behind stuff. So let's get into the books that I have on hold at my library. So I currently have 6. I love literary fiction, like Hemingway, and you know, oh my god, I can't think of people's names right now, but like Hemingway, and like Catching the Rise, one of my all-time favorite books, House on Mango Street, you know, things that like literary fiction, The Great Gatsby, things of that nature. I love those type of books. But I do like, I pretty much read everything. I'm not very big into smut books or like romance books, but everything else I will give it a try. So on here I have 1, 2, 3, 4 non-fiction books, and then I have 2 books that are fiction. So I have The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, a counterintuitive approach to living a good life. And that book, I'm just gonna read like a quick synopsis of like what's about. So it says, I'm reading off of Amazon. It says, New York Times bestseller, in this generation-defining self-help guide, a superstar blogger shows us that the key to being happier is to stop trying to be positive all the time and instead to become better at handling adversity. Okay, I'm just going to stop real quick. I'm not trying to make this video crazy long, but that is definitely me. I'm not somebody who tries to live positively all the time. I'm a person who's very much a realist, and a lot of people look at me and they're like, oh my god, you're so negative like all the time. And it's not really being negative, and I'm not in a bad mood all the time. It's just like the reality, you know what I mean? Like nobody walks around like this the whole day, like, hi, oh my god, you're so great. It's just not reality. It's not real. And so I just wear my heart on my sleeve too. So like if I'm mad at somebody or upset or something, you're gonna know, you know what I mean? Like I can't fake the funk. And it's just being real. Like we have one life to live. I'm not gonna live it as a faux all the time positive like robot, you know what I mean? That's just not me. Anyways, for decades we've been told that positive thinking is the key to a happy rich life, but those days are over. Fuck positivity, Mark Manson says. Let's be honest, sometimes things are fucked up and we have to live with it. For the past few years, Manson, via his wildly popular blog, has been working on correcting our delusional expectations for ourselves and for the world. He now brings his hard-fought wisdom to this groundbreaking book. Excuse me. Manson makes the argument, backed by both academic research and well-timed poop jokes, okay, that improving our lives hinges not on our ability to turn lemons into lemonade, but on learning to better stomach lemons. I already know I'm gonna like this book because yes, human beings are flawed and limited, as he writes. Not everybody can be extraordinary. There are winners and losers in society, and some of it is not fair or your fault. Manson advises us to get to know our limitations and accept them. This, he says, is the real source of empowerment. Once we embrace our fears, faults, and uncertainties, once we stop running from and avoiding and start confronting painful truths, we can begin to find the courage and confidence we desperately seek. So I'm not a big like self-help person, with like the exception of this book, obviously it's self-help, but I think that that's going to be a great one for me to read. The next one that I'm trying to read is The Last Black Unicorn by Tiffany Haddish. And that one is actually from a recommendation, well, not a recommendation, I'm very like into the planner community online. Like I'm in almost all the groups on there, and one of the planner groups that I'm in, it's a book club, and that's like the book for February, and I'm probably gonna have to end up buying it because I'm what number am I? I'm number 387 out of 429 holds in the library, and I'm supposed to have like read it already, so that's great. But this is what it's about. So from stand-up comedian, actress, and breakout star of Girls Trip, Tiffany Haddish, I hope I'm saying her last name right, comes The Last Black Unicorn, a side-splitting, hysterical, edgy, and unflinching collection of extremely personal essays, as fearless as the author herself. I read Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham, and I love Lauren Graham, but I have to say I was kind of disappointed. I don't know, I feel like she left out a lot of like the grit and like reality of like growing up and just like being her, and like being in Gilmore Girls and stuff like that. So anytime now that I read like biographies, I'm like, I want, if you're writing about yourself, you need to like let it all out, you know what I mean? Like don't give us like a cookie cutter like, oh my god, I'm so perfect. like get into the grit of your life. Like that's what people want to read. Anyways, so growing up in one of the poorest neighborhoods of South Central Los Angeles, Tiffany learned to survive by making people laugh. If she could do that, then her classmates would let her copy their homework, the other foster kids she lived with wouldn't beat her up, and she might even get a boyfriend, or at least she could make enough money as the paid school mascot and in-demand bar mitzvah hype woman to get her hair and nails done so then she might get a boyfriend. None of that worked, and she's still single, but it allowed Tiffany to imagine a place for herself where she could do something she loved for a living, comedy. Tiffany can't avoid being funny. It's just who she is, whether she's plotting shocking, jaw-dropping revenge on an ex-boyfriend or learning how to handle her newfound fame despite still having a broke person's mindset. Finally poised to become a household name, she recounts with heart and humor how she came from nothing and nowhere to achieve her dreams by owning, sharing, and using her pain to heal others. I think that's going to be a fun one. I hope so. I have like a British sense of humor, and by that I mean like it's very dry, no offense to British people, but I don't like, you know, if somebody like, I don't know, says a joke, I'll know it's funny, but I'm not like like a lot of people do, and not everyone's always like, what is wrong with you, like why do you not find that funny? And I'm like, no, it's funny, I get it's funny, but it's just not making me laugh. So hopefully I can find humor in that. And it has like 5 out of 5 stars on Amazon. So the next book is The Immortalist by Chloe Benjamin, and this is so it starts off with, if you knew the date of your death, how would you live? The synopsis, not the book. It's 1969 in New York City's Lower East Side, and word has spread of the arrival of a mystical woman, a traveling psychic who claims to be able to tell anyone the day they will die. The Gold Children, 4 adolescents on the cusp of self-awareness, sneak out to hear their fortunes. The prophecies inform their next 5 decades. Golden Boy Simon escapes to the West Coast, searching for love in 80s San Francisco. Dreamy Clara becomes, I don't have my glasses on, becomes a Las Vegas magician, obsessed with blurring reality and fantasy. Eldest son Daniel seeks security as an army doctor post 9/11, and bookish Varya throws herself into longevity research, where she tests the boundary between science and immortality. A sweeping novel of remarkable ambition and depth, The Immortalist probes the line between destiny and choice, reality and illusion, this world and the next. It is a deeply moving testament to the power of story, the nature of belief, and the unrelenting pull of familial bonds. I think it's going to be a good one. And this one is... Does it say how many pages? No? Okay, cool. The next book I have on hold is It Occurs to Me That I Am America. And that one is... it's like a group of essays from different writers, so I'll tell you what it is. In time for a 1-year anniversary of the Trump inauguration and the Women's March, this provocative, unprecedented anthology, I can't talk today, features original short stories from 30 best-selling and award-winning authors, including Alice Walker, Richard Russo, Walter Mosley, Joyce Carol Oates, Alice Hoffman, Neil Gaiman, I love Neil Gaiman, Michael Cunningham, Mary Higgins Clark, and Lee Child, with an introduction by Pulitzer Prize-winning author Viet Thanh Nguyen. When Donald Trump claimed victory last November, the U.S. literary world erupted in indignation. Many of America's leading writers and artists openly resist the current administration's dogma and earliest policy moves, and they're not about to go gently into that good night. And It Occurs to Me That I Am America, New Stories in Art, more than 30 of the most acclaimed modern writers consider the fundamental ideas of a free, just, and compassionate democracy through fiction. So that's what that is. Oh, I thought it was nonfiction, but never mind, it's fiction. Okay, cool. So my camera rudely cut off, but I was reading the synopsis for The Alienist by Caleb Carr. So this is what it is. It starts off with, the year is 1896. The city is New York. Represent. Newspaper reporter John Schuler Moore is summoned by his friend Dr. Laszlo Kreisler, a psychologist or alienist, to view the horribly mutilated body of an adolescent boy abandoned on the unfinished Williamsburg Bridge. From there, the two embark on a revolutionary effort in criminology, creating a psychological profile of the perpetrator based on the details of his crimes. Their dangerous quest takes them into the tortured past and twisted mind of a murderer who will kill again before their hunt is over. Fast-paced and riveting, infused with historical detail, The Alienist conjures up Gilded Age New York with its tenements and mansions, corrupt cops and flamboyant gangsters, shining opera houses and seamy gin mills. It is an age in which questioning society's belief that all killers are born, not made, could have unexpected and fatal consequences. Ooh, I really love those type of books. It's like The Devil in the White City. I was really kind of hoping for more of Holmes's story versus like the World Fair architects and stuff like that, but things like that kind of I gravitate towards. And then the last one, which is the one that's in transit, is the only one that's in transit. Everything else is I'm like number 5,000 out of a million. It's Blood in the Water, The Attica Prison Uprising of 1971 and Its Legacy by Heather Ann Thompson. And I'm just reading now, it was actually released on my birthday 2 years ago, August 23rd, 2016. So this was a wow, it's a winner of the 2007 Pulitzer Prize in History and the winner of the 2017 Bancroft Prize. That's awesome. So it starts, on September 9th, 1971, nearly 1,300 prisoners took over the Attica Correctional Facility in upstate New York to protest years of mistreatment. Holding guards and civilian employees hostage, the prisoners negotiated with officials for improved conditions during the 4 long days and nights that followed. On September 13, the state abruptly sent hundreds of heavily armed troopers and correctional officers to retake the prison by force. Their gunfire killed 39 men, hostages as well as prisoners, and severely wounded more than 100 others. Ooh, I'm getting like chills just reading about this. In the ensuing hours, weeks, and months, troopers and officers brutally retaliated against the prisoners, and ultimately New York State authorities prosecuted only the prisoners, never once bringing charges against the officials involved in the retaking and its aftermath, and neglecting to provide support to the survivors and the families of the men who had been killed. Drawing from more than a decade of extensive research, historian Heather Ann Thompson sheds new light on every aspect of the uprising and its legacy, giving voice to all those who took part in this 45-year fight for justice. Prisoners, former hostages, families of the victims, lawyers and judges, and state officials, and members of law enforcement. Blood in the Water is a searing and indelible account of one of the most important civil rights stories of the last century. That's awesome. I didn't know anything like that even happened. I forgot how I even found it. I think it was on the library's website. It was like one of the like recommended books or something. Like they have like playlists or whatever, or like list of books to read, and that was one of them. And I clicked on it and then I read all that, and I was like, I need to read it. So I'm excited that it's coming soon, which means that I need to finish this book soon, because I am not one person that can juggle more than one book. I've tried it and I can't. Alright, so in my Kindle, I love the Kindle, I have a lot of books that I purchased and I just never read, so I am trying to get through some of them. One of them is Stephen King's It. I started reading it when the book came out and I just never continued it, so I'm trying to finish that one. The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. Oh, I really want to read Troublemaker by Leah Remini. I love her document, like, oh my god, what am I trying to say? I love her TV show on Scientology. Oh god, there was a point in time where I was obsessed with learning about Scientology because of like its corruption and like the abuse and everything. I was just like, wow, it's literally like peeling an onion. Like once you start with one story, it literally goes and goes and you're like in it, because there's so much shit that happens there. Then I have things like The Selfish Gene by Richard Dawkins. Why can't I see? I don't know why. Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice. What else? Ghettoside by Jill Leovy. Michael Crichton's The Lost World. I read Jurassic Park, so I'm trying to read the other one. The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. I haven't read, so I'm like so behind. Kafka on the Shore by Haruki Murakami. Wait, where's all my stuff? I have more books, but apparently I took them off of here. But those are the ones that I want to start reading. And then I do have Charles Darwin, The Origin of Species. I kind of like scientific books as well, like I said before. And I have like Bill Nye's Undeniable Evolution and the Science of Creation, as well as Neil deGrasse Tyson's Origins. I love like those things. Then I have Room by Emma Donoghue. Looking for Alaska by John Green, and Ken Follett's The Pillars of the Earth. So my 2018 is pretty much mapped out. Again, I don't know if, hopefully I'll be able to get through all of these books, but maybe I'll get through more, I'm hoping, and I will let you guys know. If you want to see like a review for any or all of these books, let me know down below, because I'll definitely do those for you. And yeah, with that, that's it. I will leave my Goodreads account, or whatever the hell, my link to my account down below. If you want to follow me, we can follow each other, recommend books, and this, that, and the third. And yes, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!